Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today Jamie and I of course back once more with the Unnamed Motorsport podcast today to review the Dutch Grand Prix. Yes, F1 for the first time in 36 years I've returned to Zandvoort at the weekend, and I think to sum it up perfectly in my eyes, it was as memorable as the last 35 years of the Dutch Grand Prix. Would you agree?
Says the salty Hamilton fan.
I'm not salty about it. The Verstappen did well all weekend.
I really enjoyed watching.
In fact, I wasn't. You can tell how much I expected Verstappen just to win it because I mega drived him on my fantasy team and scored 212 points, thank you. If you want to watch that video, it went live yesterday.
Did someone just unplug that plug? Hang on. I quite enjoyed the whole... I really want to go next year, basically.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. But...
obviously the race wasn't great. But then...
Yeah, I think this is the thing, isn't it? What was sort of... almost okay with Zandvoort was the fact that, where a lot of people know it from, obviously where it was on the F1 game last year as well, everyone knew, to be honest, it was going to be a really boring Grand Prix, so there was sort of, not as much hype and expectation going in. If you get, a boring Italian Grand Prix or a boring race at Baku now, it's like, oh, great. But, a boring race at Zandvoort was kind of expected, wasn't it? But, I mean, really, we've got a long list of things, actually, here. We're trying to sort out our notes properly now. For these podcasts, so we don't end up rambling on for 15 minutes about grade FIA 1 circuits like we tend to. But there's a lot to get through this week, actually. A lot's happened.
Yeah, it was quite action-packed.
Yeah, so let's start then, obviously, before the Grand Prix. Kimi Räikkönen announces he's going to be retiring at the end of the year from Formula 1, and then gets COVID.
It's so coincidental, that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we remember back to when he announced he was leaving Lotus...
And then definitely needed back surgery, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably going to be out of Italy as well, but... to be fair, it probably is COVID, but I just find it funny. It's a very Kimi thing to do, just to stop racing when he can't be bothered anymore.
Yeah, and it's a bit strange. Well, no, I wouldn't call it strange necessarily, but it seems a bit odd, almost, the timing of it. But then again, you see people online going, oh, it's such a shame, it's his send-off Grand Prix, the first one you do when you retire, and he's missed it. Kimi couldn't care less. In fact, to be honest, it makes you believe he probably did do it deliberately. He was probably there, getting into...
So licking
turnstiles and door handles in the Dutch airport, even though they drove up from Spa, but still. But yeah, I think we all knew Kimi was going to retire at the end of this year, though, didn't we?
There was a time where I thought he might carry on, but...
Really? Do you genuinely... I think, to be honest...
Mid-season, he seemed to be enjoying it, but then,
For me, I think it was always the thing. When he went into the back of Giovinazzi at Portugal...
Oh, yeah.
Literally just drove into the back of it 170 miles an hour. I think that was the moment for me where I realised, Kimi probably knows, after doing that, he probably should call it.
Last winter, actually.
Yeah, no one does that. No one does that.
That's true.
You don't decide you're going to do another whole year in Formula 1, but already know you're not going to stay on after, by choice. Especially not Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah. I think he won't regret his time out for Romeo, I don't think.
No, I don't think he will.
And I'm glad he didn't leave straight out to Ferrari, because that would have been a very sudden retirement. I mean, I guess he was still 39 or something. But I'm glad he has the time out for Romeo. Probably time to go.
Well, to be honest, it's always the thing, isn't it, with Kimi Räikkönen? Is now he's done the full round trip, hasn't he? Started at Sauber,
he's done, the complete
went
career.
to McLaren, went to Ferrari, did a couple of years of rally in a NASCAR, went to Lotus, then went back to Ferrari when he won his world title, and went back to Sauber where they gave him his first seat. Yeah, exactly. And I think, to be honest, for Kimi, he's gone back to the two teams that really sort of gave him a lot.
Yeah.
Ferrari obviously gave him a car that could win a world title, just about. Got lucky. And then obviously Sauber gave him a Formula 1 seat. Not salty, no. And then obviously Sauber gave him a Formula 1 seat after he'd only done 14 junior Formula races.
That's mental.
Which is ridiculous.
Less than a year of karting, wasn't it?
He did a Formula 3 for a year, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like...
It's mad.
Because someone put on Twitter last week, didn't they, after he'd announced it, the letter they'd sent to Max Mosley from Sauber. Which is just insane when you think about it.
It will never happen again. So few as 14.
You can't.
It's crazy.
You can't. Because you can't get the super license points. Now, yeah. Exactly. Unless you literally win World Endurance and then dominate 4 weekends of Formula 2 and somehow win the title doing that by complete egg. But yeah, no, it is. And fair play to Kimi Räikkönen, because I think neither of us are Kimi Räikkönen fans, are we? Like, we like him.
I like him,
but
yeah.
Neither of us are like Kimi fans as such. But I think we can both appreciate how much he's almost accidentally brought to the sport.
Yeah, he didn't mean to.
No.
If he had his own way, it'd be like...
And it goes to show just how incredible a character he is, where he's built up such a fan base by deliberately trying not to do anything. Like, it's incredible.
Such a character.
Like, you think if someone came in now that acted like Kimi Räikkönen, you just think, well, he's just a stubborn kid. Like, you imagine if Mazepin had come in, and obviously, again, different context, but still. But, like, just refuses to do media and stuff. People would talk about, like, how stuck up he is and things like that. But with Kimi, it was, like, always his personality. And I think he probably will be the last driver we ever see that never once played up to the media.
Yeah.
And
even the timing of the announcement, everyone thought it'd be on the Thursday at the press conference.
Yeah.
Like media day.
And he put it on Instagram, yeah, just like one afternoon. I absolutely pray, though, within the next couple of years, Jamie, I want to see Kimi Räikkönen at the Monaco Grand Prix on the grid, throwing up in a Ferrari. Throwing up in a Ferrari Formula 1 car before the race even begins. I want to see him there, pissed out of his mind by 1 o'clock in the afternoon on race day.
That would be pretty funny.
Because it's just
he's
so
one of these characters.
Kimi.
I don't think we'll see him that often again.
Yeah, but that's why I want to literally, like, he gets to the end of the year, literally gets out of the car at the end of the season and goes back to his hotel.
Just drives out.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't bother with media.
No, exactly. And then I want to see him come back here, like 18 months, hammered on the grid before a race, causes carnage, and then just so we don't see him again for another 5 years.
Goes to his yacht and watches the race.
Exactly. And just gets absolutely larruped.
Yeah.
Because that's just Kimi.
It is. He's very funny. And I want to see is it his son or daughter?
Son.
He's trying to get into his son.
Yeah.
He'll be in F1 in like 10 years. I don't know how old he is.
He's 4, Jamie.
In like 15 years.
Yeah.
He's 4.
He's 4, I think.
That's mad. I thought he was older than that.
Well, he's Matthias Raikkonen, isn't he? Let me have a look quickly.
Yeah,
you then talk about Robert Kubica coming in for me whilst I find that out.
I mean, it was the most like it was nothing like a breaking news.
Oh no, it's Robin. Sorry, his son.
Robin Raikkonen. Yeah.
No, he's 6.
Well, yeah, 10 years and a bit. But Kubica, it was like I woke up on Saturday morning or Friday morning. Sorry, it was like, oh, Kubica's driving, cool.
It was really weird, wasn't it?
It was. There was like no fanfare or anything.
Because,
to be fair to him, I think he did it right. You think he's a fraud.
Well, we'll discuss that a bit more, won't we, in a minute. But like, I genuinely remember watching like the grid rundown before the race and suddenly going, "Shit, yeah, Kubica's here, isn't he?" Because it just like there was no.
It was so under the radar.
Understandably, there was no hype for it because we all knew he wouldn't do anything, and he didn't.
He did it right.
No,
he did it better than Paul di Resta did then at the time at Williams.
Yeah, but Paul di Resta probably had a worse car as well at that point.
Nah.
It was a 2019 Williams, was it?
Nah,
or 2017.
Williams.
Oh, it was still pretty much a dog bite, and it was Hungary as well, which was like one of their worst tracks. But true. Yeah, so that was sort of like the big news pre-weekend then, wasn't it? Kimi Räikkönen announced his retirement and then announces he's been looking door handles again.
Yeah.
Then obviously free practice, a bit of drama here and there, wasn't it? You had Tsunoda's issue in FP1, Hamilton's issue in FP2, a couple of red flags, Sebastian Vettel issues as well. But fairly, I think everyone was just sort of like trying to work out the limits, weren't they?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we get into qualifying. And straight away the drama kicks off in Q1, doesn't it? We get Sergio Perez out in Q1, half a second off Verstappen, I want to say.
Was it only half a second?
I think it was. It was really tight at the end. And obviously...
16th place.
Yeah, 16th place there. Took an engine penalty, started from the back of the field. The right thing to do from Red Bull. I think everyone can agree with that. Then, of course, we get to probably the more dramatic bit, was Sebastian Vettel getting blocked by both Haas cars.
Yeah. That's all accident waiting to happen. Those two are getting more and more frictious every single race.
But, on the other hand, I don't think either of those two can be... I don't even think those two combined can take the whole blame for that.
Well, the Haas team have always been terrible at telling drivers...
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there either. That's always been strange. But, I mean, there were cars in front of them, weren't there, though? That was the thing.
Yeah, but, like, it's still... I think the problem was that it was his turn to go ahead, basically. And Schumacher wasn't going to let him through.
Yeah.
So Mazepin was like,
I'm having him. And then suddenly realised he's got an Aston Martin pretty much in his gearbox.
So Vettel had nowhere to go, had to obviously back out of his lap.
Yeah.
Qualified 17th.
Yep.
Also, Latifi took the penalty, didn't he?
Latifi took the penalty.
Gearbox.
Yeah, Latifi started from the grid.
16th.
Yeah, so got promoted up to... Well, no, got promoted to 15th, didn't he? Because Perez started from the
Perez
pits.
didn't go either. Yeah.
So, obviously, FP1, obviously we have both Haas cars out as normal. Kubica, as everyone predicted.
Expected.
Seb and Perez, obviously, out in Q1. We get into Q2, and the drama continues. Williams, 2 back-to-back points finishes. We all knew it wouldn't last for the rest of the year. You had literally people going on Twitter going, I reckon Williams have undersold their car this year. It might be like a top 10 contender for the rest of the year. And you're like, no, clearly it's not.
Look at the 2 races.
Exactly. George Russell manages to do the F1 2021 mistake, doesn't he, at Zandvoort? Bins it through the penultimate corner by taking the curb. No, he took the curb.
Oh, no, that was Latifi.
That was Latifi, yeah. No, George Russell hit the auto spin curb in real life. Somehow didn't rip the rear
They've got to fix
right
the game,
reel
honestly.
off.
Yeah, he literally bounced off the... It was really weird how he just bounced off the wall and carried on.
Yeah.
They probably put the red flag out a bit too early. They probably could have just carried on.
No, because he put gravel all over the track, didn't he?
It's just a bit of extra
But I think they're all worried, aren't they?
navigate
Because I think the problem is if you get like a piece of gravel that's just the wrong place, if that rips a tyre open as they're going into that banked corner, I think the thing they were so worried about this
USA
weekend is basically they just don't want anything that can resemble USA 05 this weekend. We had a fast car race last weekend like it, but they were so worried this weekend. They just, you know why they brought like the C5 tyres and everything, because they were just so worried something would happen through the banking. But
then Latifi has his opportunity to out-qualify Russell.
First time ever. Yeah.
It was actually up. He probably would have beaten Russell and then completely binned it.
Yeah,
so,
in more dramatic fashion. Literally, it was the epiphany of anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah. It was like trying to take after Russell in more ways than one.
Yeah.
So not great from Latifi.
No.
Not my goat.
Well, not great for Williams either, was it? Because it was,
no.
Russell's wasn't a massive repair job, but Latifi's was a proper write-off, wasn't it? It looked like a fast crash.
As well.
Yeah.
It was very high speed.
Yeah. But whilst this is all going on, though, we finally get into Q3. Max Verstappen sets the benchmark. I think it was a 108.7? Or no, a 108.9 even, I want to say.
I think. 108.9,
a 108.923, if I remember correctly. Obviously, sat on provisional pole. They all then go out for their second runs. Verstappen improves by 38 thousandths of a second. And Hamilton No, he did, actually.
There was one of the runs he didn't have it.
No, the second run he did, it just didn't open fully.
Well,
so he's still got some of the DRS effect, but yeah. And I mean, let's be fair, it's such a short run to the line anyway there. It must have cost him at most a tenth. Probably half a tenth, realistically.
But then, if you're getting pole by a tenth and a half, it's a lot more than 40,000, sorry.
Yeah. But Hamilton, as well, matched his original lap time. Like, if Verstappen hadn't been improved, it was the 1,000th. They were identical, which would have been
saying is Verstappen did 2 laps good enough for pole position?
Yes.
Yeah, my goat. Easy.
Okay. If you think doing 2 laps good enough for pole position in one weekend ever is sign of a goat, then fair enough. 101 pole positions, thank you very much.
Nico Hülkenberg did it once.
Yeah, once. Hamilton's done it 100 more times.
Yep.
But, as well, we've got to give a special shout out, don't we? I know you'll be gagging to do this anyway.
Oh, Pierre Gasly.
And Giovinazzi.
Nah, Giovinazzi can do one. Just Gasly.
Wait, so you're trying to tell me that Kubica had a good weekend, but Giovinazzi can do one?
Giovinazzi did do well too.
Yeah.
We'll give Gio some credit. For the first time this season, he did it respectably okay.
Monaco. Everyone forgets Monaco.
What did he do in Monaco?
He qualified. He made Q3 there as well and finished 10th, didn't he? It was a really weird weekend because no one remembers it happened. Because the problem is with Giovinazzi, where everyone forgets he's on the grid, he can't build up any hype around himself. Genuinely, he made Q3. I'm pretty certain.
He finished 10th.
Yeah, he finished 10th, just out of nowhere.
2 good races.
Yeah, it was really odd.
That is weird. I mean, Raikkonen was 11th, so
yeah. Alfa Romeo have clearly got a very good car around the really high downforce circuits.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no way Giovinazzi. Because I mean, Giovinazzi literally at the moment is driving to survive, and we'll talk about that later on in the video as well, of course, because everyone knows the big news we'll have to mention at some point. It's a good job we recorded this tonight rather than this morning.
Yeah.
Because we would have missed that as well there. But yeah, Gasly and Giovinazzi both did a mega job there. Gasly got in front of both Ferraris, and his qualifying record this year has been, apart from a couple of P12s, mid-season. Because I remember
top 6 every race.
Pretty much, yeah. We spoke about it, I think, after, like, I want to say Portugal, didn't we? That we were worried that sort of Gasly had wasted, like, the 2 big chances.
Yeah, they've already had their 2 best tracks.
But since then, he's just been, especially over qualifying, really consistent still, getting everything out of that car.
4th to 6th every single race, basically.
Is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely getting aboard the Gasly hype train for some reason. So
Gasly to Merc 2023.
No. So we had then, of course, our grid all lined up. Alonso? Sorry,
Alonso.
Verstappen. I was just thinking about something else then.
You're living in the past.
No, I was actually thinking about how Alonso confirmed he was getting a deal for next year, even though everyone already knew it was happening.
He signed a 2-year deal in...
Yeah, but he hadn't, apparently.
October
That was the
last year.
thing. It made no sense. He'd only
really
signed a
odd.
1-year deal with the chance for an extension. But, like, everyone
just
knew it
wanted
was a
some
2-year deal, yeah. Probably. But so, obviously, the grid was all set then. We had Max Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas. Me being the Mercedes fan, I was like, great. They're going to just egg him.
2 against 1.
The Dutch are going to be crying.
Fuming. Riots on the streets of Zandvoort.
Exactly. Can we quickly as well, sorry, just before we get into that, am I the only one that thinks the location of the Zandvoort circuit is quite possibly up there with Sochi as the oddest in Formula 1?
It's very strange.
It's just in the middle of a town.
Yeah.
Who puts an FIA Grade 1 circuit in the middle of your town? I want one here where I live.
It's quite nice.
I mean, it's very picturesque. Like, you got the beach
the
right
beach
there
is
and
lovely.
everything. But
I really want to go next year. If I can go.
are we
going
to go Dutch Grand Prix next year?
Podcast live
Podcast
from the
live.
tent in Zandvoort.
Exactly. Make it happen, people. If this video gets 5 likes, we'll go to Zandvoort next year. But, yeah, so the grid was set then. We thought Hamilton, Verstappen again. Maybe something might happen early on. Maybe Mercedes might outstrat him, try and rattle him a bit more.
Maybe Hamilton will take him out of turn 1 again.
Well, Hamilton's never taken him out of turn 1. The only one that's taken anyone out of turn 1 was Verstappen at Imola and then almost Verstappen at Spain.
I think Hamilton carried on both his occasions, actually.
He did, with front wing damage at 1, and after being almost... If he turned in, Verstappen would have almost... Well, it would have been in a very bad way.
If my grandmother had wheels...
She could have been a Formula 1 driver.
Right, get on with the race.
Let's get on with the race then. So, lap 1. Max Verstappen. End of lap 1, 1.7 second lead. Like, he basically just went for prime Sebastian Vettel, didn't he? Like Vettel in his Red Bull
We
days.
did it very well.
Yep.
He literally got like 3 seconds clear and just
He did.
stayed there.
Alonso, luckiest driver of all time, can I add?
That was ridiculous.
How on
that's
earth?
not
He
true.
got rammed 3 times on lap 1, made up 2 places, and 3 times wheel to wheel, or like front wing to wheel,
Yeah.
no damage. How on earth he didn't get a puncture? That should have been 2 punctures at least.
Yeah, I've no clue how he survived that.
Because
That's all.
well,
And one of them was at stupidly high speed at the top of the
yeah,
hill.
but
wasn't
he collided with Ocon. Well, Ocon ran him out of road, basically,
Yeah.
through turn 2.
He hit the back of Russell, didn't he?
No, Russell hit the back of him
Oh, yeah.
and swiped him with his front wing on his tyre. How on earth that didn't do front
And then
wing
he
damage?
hit Gio at the top of the hill.
And then he rammed into Gio at the top of the hill.
No clue.
But that move through turn 3 was banging. It was like
Yep.
prime Alonso race start energy.
Alonso's been doing so well recently, honestly.
He's been doing
on
well
such a
again, yeah,
streak.
definitely.
If you ignore Belgium, which didn't exist,
Yeah.
he's on like a streak of like 8 in a row or something in terms of points.
Yeah, but I reckon that Alpine car is a pretty decent package now as well. Because Ocon's not been far
Ocon's
behind him,
been
has he,
great.
more recently?
Ocon's behind Alonso in the points, and he got gifted a load at Hungary.
Yeah.
So-
But, like, often he's not been far behind Alonso on track. He's pretty much always been behind him.
he was quite a long way back this weekend.
He wasn't that far back at the end, was he?
He was 6th against 8th. It was 9th, sorry.
Yeah, that's not... Because then Alonso was just in front of Sainz and Norris.
I can't really tell.
But there was... We'll talk about that as well at some point during this video, because that was ridiculous.
Plus 1 lap for all of them.
Yeah. Obviously, we had Sainz as well. Very, very aggressive defending against Gio. I'm
I
guessing
just don't think he realised he was there.
I think that was a lot of it. Or he was like, well, you out have my Ferrari seat on the one weekend you've decided to
Yeah.
show up. So just squeezed him out.
It was very strange.
Over
yeah.
the
I mean,
limit?
It was very narrow, that part. But if he knew he was there, I think it's very rude.
Yeah.
But
That part
He
of
was
Zandvoort,
ahead.
though, as well, I can say from racing on the sim, is so sketchy. Because you got all those huge bumps. It twists around a lot as well, like with all the elevation change. You do not want to be there with a full field of cars.
you've got to be on your right line.
Yeah. There is basically one line through there.
Science won, but at what cost?
Exactly.
And it was Giovinazzi losing 3 places was the cost.
Yes, and I don't think Sainz cared.
No.
At the end of the day there. Then, obviously, right at the end of lap 1, we had Mazepin trying to murder his teammate after all the beef that had happened on Saturday. He then comes out the final corner, doesn't he? Swings high. Schumacher goes to the inside, so he almost puts him in the pit wall. Which, again...
Almost a forced box from Schumacher.
Yeah. What
I don't
are
get those
Haas
two
doing?
It's an absolute powder keg, that team, honestly. Like, the drivers just hate each other immediately.
But
so
why is...
I don't know.
I don't get how, at this point, someone at Haas has just... Probably Gunther Steiner is going to be the one to do it. You just put their heads together. Because they're getting ridiculous, aren't they?
They're wasting money all the time. They're just crashing.
It's like Gunther Steiner said after Schumacher binned it at Hungary, wasn't it? They're not battling anyone this year. They literally... If you
just do a 2015 manner and drive safely at the back.
Well, literally, you do Arrows at 2002 Hockenheim. Yeah. You just show up, do 1 lap in free practice, and that's your weekend.
Did they actually do that? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's because they Tom Walkinshaw was trying to work out funding for it, but to get any money from the FIA beforehand, he needed to show up.
They had to show up to a race.
So they put both cars out for 1 lap in FP1, and that was it for the weekend. And then they went under anyway.
Class.
That was such a depressing end for Arrows after they'd been there for so long with no wins. Well, they
almost got a win.
They almost got a win, yeah, but they just fell away like mid-season. Completely off topic, but yeah. So Haas are the new Arrows, but just what's going on at that team?
It's such a mess. Honestly, I think we said this in like March. If they don't nail next year's regulations, they're gone.
Oh yeah,
no chance.
I can't see. Gene Haas just must look at that from across the pond and think it's a circus show every weekend. It's ridiculous. Literally. Like, even the simple thing of... Even if Mick and Nikita just stay quiet, stay away from each other on track, don't cause any stir in the media, and just get the car home in 19th and 20th each week.
Yeah, and just take the 10th place money and move on.
But they can't even do that. Like, I'm sorry.
Literally.
And obviously Drive to Survive doesn't always give the full picture as well, but I have genuinely got the vibe that Gunther Steiner is not suitable for a team manager in Formula 1.
He's a bit of a character.
He's a character, but to me, he just doesn't have the leadership qualities needed.
Yeah, he's a bit crazy. Like, I don't know why they've trusted
Look
him
at every team he's ran before.
Like, someone like Fred Vasseur.
He put Jaguar into the ground, and they had Ford money.
Yeah. I mean, eventually Jaguar won 4 titles, to be fair to him.
Kind of. I mean, it was very different money coming in, but...
In the same way Tyrrell won, 7 titles.
Exactly, yeah. And Lotus Renault raced against themselves.
Yeah.
But it just has... It's just so difficult, isn't it? Because they can't... If you can't operate a team now when there's nothing to gain, or there's nothing to lose... Sorry, nothing to lose, you have no pressure. And to be honest, I think a lot of people have started saying it more and more, haven't they? People genuinely don't believe Schumacher and Mazepin are going to be able to hold their own when Haas have got a car that can race anyone anyway.
Yeah, they're so mid, both of them.
It's just that...
I think Schumacher... Like, they're both obviously quick, because they did it alright at F2. But
well, it was a pretty weak F2 grid, though, wasn't it?
It was quite weak, apart from Guan Yu Zhou, who got stupidly unlucky.
Oh, behave.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see much of a future for them.
Yeah.
But
I think, really,
we'll
Mick Schumacher's only hope is to go to Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, which it could happen.
Could happen. Probably won't. I think Haas are going to keep him on for another year. But something's going to happen between those two, probably before the end of the year. It's going to be like Breaking Point on F1, where they take each other out.
Never played it. That's your territory.
Exactly. But yeah, just the Haas clown show continues, for whatever reason. Then obviously we get Perez trying to jump Mazepin. Completely flat spots his tyres on lap 4, I want to say.
It was really early. He had to pit straight away.
And then had to pit. Then nothing happened.
Just saw him do overtakes though, so he gets driving.
Exactly. Then nothing happened until Hamilton finally pits on lap 25, I want to say. Over there or thereabouts,
something
wasn't
like
it?
Yeah.
Hamilton pits, Bottas stays out, as everyone thought. And then you think, great, it's Zandvoort. Bottas is going to just sit in front of him for the rest of the day. And he just doesn't. Like, how Bottas literally... Like, Verstappen closes up to him and then just drives past him down the straight.
Literally.
Hamilton was a bit unlucky in the background because he can get held up by an Alfa Romeo because it's Kubica. But yeah, Hamilton got a bit unlucky there that he wasn't close enough to be able to go past Bottas at the exact same time and really apply the pressure.
He had to wait.
But there was nothing he was going to be able to do anyway.
Yeah.
But how Bottas just didn't do anything.
It was a difficult task because he was still on softs, so they were stupidly past.
Yeah, but you just park it on the apex, don't you, and then just sit defensive.
Hold him up for half a lap, and you've done your job.
Dive bombing back into T1, lock up, do a Hungary. Anyway. Yeah, exactly.
The Bottas being useless again, but now he's leaving. Everyone's being nice to him on Twitter. So.
Oh yeah, so mid.
He is.
But then obviously
talking to mid drivers.
Yeah, Sebastian Vettel spins again by himself in.
So many bites that comment gets.
Just what? It's so.
It was so weird. I don't even know what he was doing. He just spun out for no reason.
It was clearly just he didn't sort of work out how the undulation of the track works, because that was always going to happen with the angle he went in. Because obviously the middle of the car just grounds out.
It was amazingly strange, and it almost took out Bottas.
He almost took out Bottas in the process. But it was just... Oh, I struggle with it so much. How on earth... Because that's the second time in 3 real Grand Prix he's done that, isn't it?
Oh, Silverstone.
Silverstone, he binned it as well, that one, didn't he?
Yeah. He did a car, we had Alonso in outside, he got flashbacks, so just spun.
Yeah. Like... It just doesn't make any sense. Does it still?
I mean, he's never really recovered from mentally being ruined by Hamilton after Baku in 17.
So... Well, he didn't get ruined by Hamilton in 17. Hamilton just lived rent-free in his head from then on, didn't he?
Yeah, and then he made the mistake in Hockenheim and literally got pummeled into the ground.
Yeah.
So...
But, it just doesn't make sense, because, to be honest, now Sebs left Ferrari, off the track, he's a likeable driver. Isn't he?
Yeah. He clears up litter and stuff.
He clears up litter. What more can you like from a person? But just in the car, you're just there. Even at this point, I want Seb to have some good weekends a bit more. Like Baku, for example. He had a really good weekend there.
He was
a bit out of nowhere.
The car was really good that
He got lucky with the strategy. The car seemed to be really good for no reason. But he got it home. And he got a good result. Yeah. And you genuinely felt like he deserved it. Hungary should have won. Yeah, how on earth he didn't undercut Ocon, I'll never know. But it's just so weird, isn't it? Sebastian Vettel still.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Hamilton, of course, then pits again. Everyone was pretty much knew he was on the 2-stop anyway after on the strategy. He was too far behind. They put him out in traffic for some reason as well, lapped cars. So Verstappen just pits a couple of laps later and stays out in front of him.
It was quite close, to be fair. He almost got the undercut. It was less than he closed a second.
He closed a second and a half, but the gap was still 2 seconds. It just wasn't going to happen. Then we get Lando and Perez's weird incident. Which,
that was really strange.
Yeah. But I think the camera shot that everyone shows you is the absolute worst case scenario from it. Don't get me wrong, Lando's fault entirely. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna be.
He's trying to force Perez.
He's trying to force basically Austria style, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, just a very, very sort of weird one between those two. Perez did get damage from that.
Both cars carried on.
Well, Perez did say he had big damage from that. But
yeah, he got a bit of floor damage, but
managed to limp home.
Lando's car was in the air with tyres interlocked. It's how are you both carrying on? No clue.
But again, just a bit weird.
McLaren were off it all weekend.
It was a high downforce track, with the exception of.
But they've never been that far off it.
Spain, they were pretty much that far off.
Spain, they still got 8th and 10th.
8th and 6th, I think, because Ricciardo did better than Norris that weekend.
6th, wow.
I want to say it was 7th and 8th or 6th and 8th. I think.
McLaren, Spain, 6th and 8th. Yeah, they weren't really off it then.
But they were. Really?
I mean, slower than Ferrari, but this weekend they were slower than Ferrari, Alpine.
But that's because Alpine have brought more upgrades, haven't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a bit weird. But McLaren Monza next weekend, McLaren will be there challenging Red Bull.
Do you think? Probably. Yeah. They've got very high speed.
Exactly. They got Mercedes power as well.
But then Red Bull aren't bad in high speed anymore.
But they're not as good as they were a few weekends ago. Mercedes have definitely got the upper hand.
For his money.
Oh, probably, yeah. But it'll be interesting to see more. Well, we'll talk about that as well in a minute, won't we? Then, right at the dying stages of the Grand Prix, Stroll almost killed Sebastian with a, in my opinion, too late a move.
Yeah, that was strange. They're fighting for 12th, and then the teammates.
Again, same with Haas. Why on earth are you doing that?
Stroll's a bit mental, though, isn't he?
Stroll can be at times, can't he? He's a very odd driver in that
He's very
sense.
erratic.
Then
He reminds me of like a Maldonado character, where he's either like obviously not as extreme, but he just sort of gets podiums and doesn't get points.
He can be sometimes, can't he? I suppose. It's a bit strange. That Stroll's always still a bit of a weird one, isn't he? Still in Formula 1. But I mean, yeah. So that was very, very weird. Then obviously we had like the Bottas and Lewis fastest lap controversy, which wasn't really controversy.
It wasn't controversial at all. Bottas actually backed off by about a second in the last second.
But he was on so much fresher and quicker rubber, he still set fastest lap when we all knew Hamilton would smash
Bottas
it.
did like a 12-1.
I think it was a 12-6 or something, wasn't it?
And then Hamilton did 11-0. Yeah. So like he clearly lost a lot.
Unless Hamilton made a mistake, you were there like, well, this isn't. Yeah. It's not really going to change anything, is it? Like people just made that out to be so much more than it really was.
I don't think if Bottas had a bit about him, knowing that he was going to lose his seat, just go for it.
Oh no, you're definitely saying Drive to Survive. That was intentional.
Yeah,
but
tradition.
Still, exactly.
Qualifying third.
Exactly. But obviously, Max Verstappen, at the end of the day, I think we all knew going into it, Red Bull weren't going to let this one have any question. Exactly. And the fact that he was able to hold off against both Mercedes was, on the one hand, rather good, but on the other hand, Mercedes kind of fluffed it, didn't they, really? They kind of.
I don't think Mercedes could have done much more.
They couldn't have done much more, but you think if they played their cards right, which quite often they do, they could have at least probably given a challenge. Well, again, it just depends on whether Bottas actually defends properly or not.
Yeah, but then the tyre delta was so big, I think even if he went defensive, Verstappen goes around the outside, and then all he's got to do is take him out, and he's not going to do that.
Yeah, but you keep the nose at the inside, don't you?
Yeah. But I don't think Mercedes could have done much more, because they did the traditional classic 2 against 1 strategy, and Verstappen was just able to cover both of them. So
yeah, well, I think it was just the way like the second stops, wasn't it? Like, why on earth put Hamilton there?
Yeah, it was a
bit weird. But yeah, Max obviously won the Grand Prix. All the orange smoke flares that weren't allowed all still went off.
Yeah,
that was quite incredible. We're not Dutch. You're a Verstappen fan, I'm not, but I can definitely appreciate the hype around that event.
It was so cool.
It was a proper festival, wasn't it?
Silverstone was so fun.
Yeah.
But Zandvoort would be another
Zandvoort would just be insane, wouldn't it? It's safe. And then, because all this is going on, we completely miss all the drama between like 6th, 7th and 8th, don't we? Sainz has fallen off massively later on in the Grand Prix. And Alonso and Lando Norris, Alonso and Perez even, are like mad dash trying to get to him. Alonso, I still haven't seen the move now, I don't think. Does he go around the outside of turn 1?
DRS,
yeah.
It was done before the break is over.
Right, yeah. I might have seen it then, actually, saying that. But why on earth are we still missing overtakes? I'm sorry.
Verstappen was winning the race. They're always going to show the race winner.
Yeah, but they didn't even show a replay of it during the... straight after or anything. It just seems so weird still. It was all, very, very weird. I think, Sainz finished 7th, though. Perez didn't get past him, though, did he? Or did Perez get him as well?
No, Perez finished 8th.
Perez finished 8th. Which, to be fair, from 20th on the grid, having to pit on lap 4 as well, was a better recovery drive than I thought he'd do.
But both of those things were his own fault. So he should have been 4th at least.
Yeah.
So, it was a decent recovery, but, still.
Overtaking that many cars at Zandvoort is still pretty impressive, though, isn't it?
Who did they overtake? Cars that are well over a second slower than Red Bull.
Probably.
So well done.
Yeah.
You want a medal.
But, again, notable shout I think has to go to Gasly because he just spent all day in P4 quite comfortably.
Yeah. I thought he was in trouble as well because he pitted for mediums as if he was going to do a 2-stop.
Yeah. But just
and
made him work.
Ferraris went to hards way later.
Yeah.
And then Gasly has never pit. He
exactly.
did 60 laps.
And he just had that gap over, didn't he? He just kept Charles Leclerc 10 seconds
back. It was 5 seconds.
But yeah, so that was... again, I think it was lucky there wasn't any hype that it could have been an exciting race because there were a couple of decent moves, but it certainly wasn't one that we're going to remember forever, apart from the atmosphere.
A lot of races in F1 are dead.
Yeah.
We're going to be honest. At least this track is exciting to look at.
But that's only this year, really. Next year it'll feel pretty normal because we've been
but Suzuka's always fun because it's Suzuka.
Suzuka's always really weird as well because all the camera quality looks retro. You ever noticed that? Suzuka, where the track's really bumpy.
It looks like a traditional... Yeah. And the safety car signs and stuff are in old font and everything.
Yeah.
It's so sick. But you get tracks like Sochi and France usually, apart from this year, where they're boring tracks and they're boring races. At least Monaco, Zandvoort, they're actual interesting tracks.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Well, I think this is the problem with F1 now, isn't it? Is generally speaking, the drivers are too good. The reliability is too good. No one makes mistakes.
You don't get Andrea Cesaris mounting barriers for no reason.
Exactly. Like, it not lost its magic as such, because really it's got to where F1 should be, where everyone is on it all the time.
Really high quality.
But it does sort of...
But, like,
it's that
back in the day when
suspense element,
Cam
isn't it?
killed Trulli for no reason at Rascas.
That was the other way around.
You don't get that anymore. Oh, yeah, it was, sorry.
But yeah, like, you just sort of miss that element of there could still be carnage a lot of the time, don't you?
Yeah.
But, yeah, anyway.
Need some terrible teams back just to cause some yellow flags.
Well, we got Haas still. I'm sure that'll happen at some point soon. But, of course, then... Yeah, I think the atmosphere there certainly carried this weekend, didn't it? All those flares, I think, will go down as like an iconic shot.
All the time Max is doing well.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be honest.
And I think, the Dutch Grand Prix is in pretty safe hands now for a few years. But, anything else to add before we look to the future?
F3 happened, but no one really cared.
Dennis Hauger again did pretty well.
Yeah. After we wrote
the French guy, I can't remember his name. Martins, Victor Martins won his first race of the year.
Martins got his first ever win.
Yeah, that was good as well. I didn't watch race 1 because I was at work, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah, looking towards then, I completely forgot about this until today. Monza's got a sprint race.
Yeah, Monza has got a sprint race.
Which is good, because
is
otherwise
quite fun.
It also now means I get to watch qualifying and the sprint race, because they start later on.
I might be able to watch them both as well.
Yeah, because I don't work Fridays, luckily. So it's really odd. It throws me off for the weekend. But
well, I didn't get to experience the first sprint race because I was there. So what
do you mean you didn't get to experience it? You were there.
I didn't get to experience the mess up of calendar because I was just at Silverstone all weekend.
Right. Okay. But yeah, so Monza sprint race though, there's the potential for some chaos there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always chaos, and Monza quali is one of my favourite qualities of the year, just because it's an absolute joke.
It is going to be interesting, isn't it?
Especially Q1, where everyone's just like stopping at the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, Monza, could be. I think McLaren are going to be on it this weekend. Yeah. And how on earth still, like Ferrari have been so under the radar this year? It's really odd, isn't it?
They're third in the championship.
They're third in the championship, but like McLaren have been always the one with the headlines.
Well,
it's because Ricciardo's just really odd.
3 podiums?
Yeah, 2 or 3, isn't it?
Monaco, Silverstone, and Hungary. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hungary. No, yeah. No, Sainz was 4th, wasn't he?
Nah, Sainz came 3rd.
Oh yeah, Hamilton came 2nd in the end, didn't he? Yeah, because Sainz, has the unenviable record of 2 of his podiums he hasn't been able to celebrate.
Yeah.
Which is really odd.
It is very strange.
2 of his 3, isn't it?
2 of his 3.
Yeah,
no, 2 of his 4.
4?
Monza last year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, half his podiums in Formula 1 he hasn't been able to celebrate. That's not a good stat you want to keep up.
But yeah, McLaren did well. They did well last year.
Yeah.
Before everything kicked off. They were 2nd and 3rd.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, they were, weren't they? Because Bottas just fell down the order and then couldn't do anything.
Bottas was terrible.
How on earth Bottas slipped like 7th and then just stayed there all day was incredible.
Well, Hamilton made up 30 seconds on everyone.
Exactly.
Like 2 seconds behind Bottas.
Yeah. But, so Monza sprint race could be a bit of carnage.
Seat. Unlucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hopefully.
F2 is back as well this weekend. And I didn't realise until we spoke about it before this podcast, but only halfway through the F2 calendar still, because it has been the deadest year in F2 ever, because they completely ballsed up the calendar.
It's been like 2 months between each race.
It has been, and the problem is as well, isn't it, is like when we talk about driver rumours and stuff, all the hype seems to still be from last year's drivers, because no one remembers what happens this year. It's been so stupid.
Ago. Literally. Like, I've watched, I think, every F2 race this season.
Yeah.
Even the one that was at 7:20 in the morning at Monaco.
Wow.
And because Joe was on pole, that's why. But yeah, it's been so bad to try and, like, usually casuals just, I mean, I don't want to call you a casual, Matt, but people like you who just watch it when it's on, and mid-season, like races like Hungary, Silverstone, Belgium, they're all quite close packed races, so you can actually get into it and know the drivers a bit.
Yeah. I mean,
you leave it 2 months between races, and you just forget who they all are. Like, what do these 3 letters mean?
Yeah, to be fair, I'd say up until last year, I was probably a bit more of a casual fan of Formula 2. Like, I knew some of like the big names and things like that, but I really tried to make a conscious effort to watch as much of the F2 as I could this year, and the calendar has just ruined that for me.
Because it's been so far. Bahrain was a good race, obviously, because it's
Bahrain. Then we had a 2-month waiting on Monaco, which is just a procession.
2 weeks till Baku.
2 weeks to
and then
Baku,
6
which was
weeks until
carnage.
Silverstone.
6 weeks to Silvo, and then another
And then
2
it's been
months.
2 months.
And why have we got so many street circuits?
And then I've just noticed, it's another like 2.5 months between Sochi and Jeddah.
Yeah,
what a joke.
it's ridiculous.
It's so bad. I've heard rumours they're going back to the old format.
No,
next
they
year, which
definitely
would be
are.
much better.
There is no doubt that like numbers and interest has been down this year. Like,
Because the sprint races have just made no sense at all. No one risks anything in sprint 1.
No.
Because it
completely ruins your weekend, basically.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy they tried changing it up a bit, but I'd rather we get 8 weekends a year with F2 and F3.
I think the reason was to save costs, because obviously the teams like Prima and ART run teams in both.
Yeah, but you don't
so they
save
want to use the
costs
same
though.
mechanics.
How does that save costs if you're having to
Actually,
send
that's
mechanics to different tracks?
But you're not employing them.
And they also sent. Well, they were going to send them out to America, weren't they? The F3 teams.
Yeah, they were.
That's obviously now been cancelled. It's going to Sochi, which means that the one weekend this year where we get F1,
Sochi's
F2,
gonna be so
F3
bad.
is the one weekend we're at the worst track in the world.
How are they going to fit all those races in?
It's not actually that much action, to be fair. It's only in another 7 hours. And because there's no W's...
Only?
What I don't get as well with that is they've changed F3 to Sochi because Austin doesn't have enough hospital beds. They're still...
And they're going to W
They're
Series.
still sending W
Austin
Series out
still.
there. It's literally like...
And they're more likely to crash.
It's literally like the meme of... yeah, it's not great. It's literally the meme from Shrek, isn't it? Of, the king going, some of you may die, but it's a cost I'm willing to take. That's literally what they've decided, this with W Series still going to Kota.
I don't get that. Kota is going to be so weird seeing anything other than F1 cards on it.
Well, the problem was they originally put F3 at Kota because I remember a couple of years ago they had like the USF4 championship, I want to say there. And it was like the last race of the year. And I think it was genuinely 6 cars showed up. It was like, they literally, like, they'd hyped it up all weekend as like the F1, like back-in race and stuff. And it was so 6 cars on the grid. It was like the most dead thing in the world. Season. Basically, yeah. It was insane. Because obviously, like, they really hyped up. They got like, all these American young drivers, you'll see them on the F3 paddock next year. And you're like, what? 3 of them that might be any good. And then just 3 people that have still got a lot of money.
Probably there.
Probably. But yeah, right. Let's get on then.
Show us winning the title, by the way, before we move
on. Let's get on to the final big news of the video.
Only took us 45 minutes to get there.
Bottas confirmed to Alfa Romeo, and because we're recording this on Monday night and it won't go up till Tuesday, Russell has been confirmed this morning going to Mercedes. Probably. But we don't know yet.
No way. It will happen.
Oh, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, he will get confirmed, but I'm saying he got confirmed this morning, which is actually tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Also, Albon to Williams got confirmed as well.
That's pretty much a done deal, isn't it, apparently?
Yeah.
Which is kind of insane, I think.
I don't like it at all.
Don't you?
But
why not?
No. He's had his chance, he bottled it. Move on.
Yeah, but so did Gasly, really.
Yeah, but Gasly showed signs of being decent.
Yeah, but so did Albon. I don't feel like you can... well, not really. I don't feel like you can try and claim any moral high ground here saying Albon doesn't deserve a seat in Formula 1 when he did a better job than Gasly in Red Bull.
He did not.
He did! He got podiums!
It was so much less competitive in 2020 than 2019.
And?
You have to admit that. 2020, every driver on the grid got a podium near enough.
Did Hulkenberg?
He did 2 races.
Did he get a podium?
In qualifying, he got a podium.
Oh, behave. Yeah, but I don't know. Right, so let's go through this then. Let's do a quick. Let's do a quick silly season then, Jamie. So.
Oh, I thought you were still running about Gasly.
Oh no.
There's 4 seats. Well, no, there's 3 seats available now.
Is there 3 or is there 4?
Well, the 2 Alphas and 2 Williams were the ones.
Right, let's go through then. Who do we believe are going to be our rosters at the bottom 3 teams for next year then? So Russell, so obviously Alfa Romeo have already got Bottas. Russell's already going to Mercedes. We all know it to be true. It got confirmed this morning. Who takes the other Alfa Romeo seat in your eyes?
I really want to say Joe. My heart says Guan Yu Zhou. My mind says Nick de Vries.
Really? To Alfa?
Yeah.
Right.
They want that Mercedes.
Yeah, see, this is what I was wondering as well recently, because there were rumours about this, wasn't there? Whether we might see Sauber try and get back into bed with Mercedes. Because, I mean, the Sauber
It wouldn't surprise
C9,
me.
iconic race car. Love that
Really
thing.
iconic.
But,
Yeah.
I mean...
Sauber in 2002 was sponsored by Petronas.
Yeah, exactly. So there are some links there.
And Red Bull at the same time.
And Red Bull at the same time, yeah, a bit of a weird one. But there are some links there from the past. And you sort of think, why would you keep relying on Ferrari power units?
Am I right in thinking De Vries drove for Fred Vasseur's F2 team? ART?
Probably? De Vries drove for
That's the
like
same one
half
Hulk
the
drove
F1
for.
teams, didn't
I
he?
think so.
Yeah, I always
De Vries was
forget
there for,
that...
17 years.
I always forget that Fred Vasseur owned a Formula 2 team. Christ, Nick De Vries is 26. What a
on
fraud.
Earth? Right, he's not getting a seat.
F1
having
seat.
that.
That's ridiculous.
He's 26.
He's 26.
He was entombed and he was like 12.
Yeah.
How old am I?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? But to be fair
That's
to him,
crazy.
he's just come off the back of winning Formula E. After
And
winning
also, the year that all 3 rookies in F2 did come to F1, he was very unlucky not to get promoted as well.
Yeah, but I think the problem was he'd been there for a year and a half already, hadn't he?
Yeah,
And they'd all just come in and done well.
Russell, Lando, and Albon,
Yeah.
top 3.
Yeah.
And then he was 4th, like right behind Albon.
Yeah, no, so De Vries won his F2 title with ART as well.
Which is the team Fred Vasseur.
So you reckon he'll go Alfa Romeo then?
I hope he doesn't. I hope it's Joe.
Well,
but
because
I
he's
think it'll be
26.
Vries. He's 20. That's like almost as old as Giovinazzi.
Well,
That's crazy.
how old's Guan Yu Zhou?
22.
How old?
22.
My God,
That's not
he's
old.
ancient. Mate, get him out.
You're 22 in about 5 months.
Yeah, you're 22 in like 7 months. You don't see me going down to Alfa Romeo going, can I have a Formula 1 drive?
Well, I would if I could.
Perhaps I should, yeah. Right, I'm going to go on Google Maps, see how far away it is. But anyway, yeah, so you're saying Bottas and De Vries.
Annoyingly.
Williams then, who are you saying?
Albon and Latifi.
And then Haas, same lineup?
Haas, Schumacher, Mazepin. Yeah.
Right, interesting.
What are you saying?
I am going to go Alfa Romeo, Bottas, Schumacher.
Interesting.
I reckon it's going
I
to
can see
be.
that happening.
I reckon it's going to be a late move, but I reckon Schumacher's going to go there. I am then going.
If it carries on the way it is, I want to get him out of Haas. Won't they?
Yeah, I'm then going to go. Williams is De Vries, Albon. But then again, it goes against my theory of why Ticktum got dropped from the F2 program, because I reckon he already knew Latifi was keeping the seat next year.
I mean, we've contradicted ourselves about 1,000 times already. This
Or, actually, no, I'm going to stick with that. De Vries and Albon to Williams, and Latifi, Mazepin at Haas.
That's got to be the worst lineup in such a long time. That's a lie.
Yes, definitely. But it makes sense.
Fair. I don't see Latifi to Haas ever.
Really?
I think it's Williams or nothing, yeah.
Yeah, but Williams don't need the money anymore. Haas do.
I suppose, but...
And let's be fair, if you
don't
don't
think
need
anyone
money,
else.
why would you actively make the decision to keep Nicolas Latifi in your Formula 1 car?
7th place, Hungary.
Oh, yeah, but... a spatula
It's the
everywhere
luckiest
else.
thing ever.
He's got the personality
Yeah.
of cardboard
Ninth
as well.
place in Belgium.
Yeah, but that was only because people binned it.
Yeah. He didn't bid it on his way to the grid, did he?
No, to be fair. But yeah, that's what I'm going with
But
then.
no, George to Mercedes is happening.
Yep, that's already been confirmed
Obviously,
this morning.
happened, sorry.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. This is really confusing, isn't it? But yeah, so before we round out then, Jamie, Monza top 3.
Oh. I really want to say Verstappen. I'm going to say Verstappen anyway.
You're going to say
Why not?
Verstappen?
Hamilton, Norris.
Ooh, interesting. I'm going to go Hamilton, Verstappen. I almost said Daniel Ricciardo then, but that's ridiculous.
You are mental.
No, I'm going to say Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. I'm going to be
Alonso.
boring.
Oh.
I'm going to be boring this weekend. Just because when I put up on like Friday about our predictions for the weekend, I get a lot more
You're gonna
hate.
get hate.
Exactly. I'm just going to go Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas this weekend. So you're going Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris.
Yeah.
Anything else to add though before we round out then?
F2, Guan Yu Zhou is winning the title. And the race,
No,
one of the races at
Piastri is
Monza.
going to win it.
He's winning one of the races at Monza, and then it'll soon be confirmed.
Piastri?
No, they'll win one each, I think.
No, Piastri's
Schwartz
going to
will go
dominate
as well.
all 3. Slipstream fest, innit?
if that comes true, if Piastri, Schwartzman, and Joe are the winners, I want a medal.
That's not that bold a prediction.
Who are your 3 winners?
I don't know. Piastri, Schwartzman, and
You're just thinking who you can remember.
Teo Porcher. Not in that order though.
Okay.
I'm gonna
With a
go
broken wrist.
Schwartzman, Porcher, Piastri winning the feature.
Right.
Okay, good.
Fair.
Anything else to add then before we finish?
I want to see that on your community tab.
That's fine. I'll go on the community tab. It is so warm tonight as well. Like, how on earth it's September?
I know.
I've got like
27 degrees in Manchester tomorrow. We move.
It's 20 degrees still in outside here, and like my room will be a lot warmer because I've got 2 computers running. But anything to add before we finish? Because this has been one of the longest podcasts I think we've ever done since like the first one.
Yeah, but you try making notes to move it on, and you spoke about Q1 for half an hour. I didn't
speak about Q1 for half an hour.
You watched the time back.
We should argue about this after we've rounded it off, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you all so much for watching nonetheless. Let us know your top 3 predictions down below. I cannot wait for Nick de Vries to get announced to Mercedes and we look like absolute mugs tomorrow.
Stoffel Van Dorn, mate.
Stoffel Van Dorn, oh lord. But yeah, we'll be back next week ready for the Italian Grand Prix review.